Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Check this out. North Korean hackers are now targeting Web3 and crypto users with malware disguised as Zoom updates and job offers. Even Mac users aren't safe. Don't click blindly. This is, I mean, we've all seen the Coinbase texts and all the links that you're sent. Don't click on any links. Don't call any random phone numbers texting you. This is the reason. This is part of the reason I've got a lot of my XRP with iTrustCapital, one of my partners, because of the closed loop system. You can send your XRP or your cash into an iTrustCapital account, but you can only send cash out. And this is designed because it creates a situation where hackers have no incentive to really target iTrustCapital, because even if somebody clicked some link and they were able to get into your account, they're not going to be able to get the crypto out, and that's how they always do it, or most of the time. So if you want to look at them or talk to them, you can go to iTrustCapital.com/XRP Army. They also have it where you can get I think it's $100. Where is the thing? There it is. Promo code XRP6 to get $100 funding bonus there. Go check it out. XRP is sitting here holding its own. It's at 229 right now. We've got market cap 3.36 trillion. Everything feels primed. We got Brad Garlinghouse. I'm honored to be invited to testify in front of the Senate Banking Committee this Wednesday on the need for passing crypto market structure legislation. Thank you to Banking Chairman Tim Scott, Loomis, Senator Ruben Gallego, is that his name? As leaders of the subcommittee for digital assets, your leadership both with this hearing and over the years in championing crypto industry has been critical, getting us the important momentum, or in this important moment, Constructive crypto market structure legislation in U.S. is imperative to bringing about a new era of innovation and financial opportunity while protecting customers. Then we've got this, because we're coming up on this, I guess, the Genius Act about to hopefully be passed in the House and then goes to the President's desk here in the next few days, really.
What's going on, everyone?
This is Cody Carbone from the Digital Chamber.
Cody Carbone here, CEO of the Digital Chamber, with big news out of the nation's capital. The U.S. Senate has passed the Genius Act, a bill that will create the first ever regulatory framework for U.S. dollar-backed stablecoins. But the job's not done, and we need your help. We need your help to tell members of the House of Representatives that they need to pass this bill quickly and send it to President Trump's desk. US-backed stablecoins are critical to preserving dollar dominance and to making your payments cheaper, quicker, and more efficient. This bill needs to pass the House so President Trump can sign this to enact this into law. So we are asking you to lend your voice by clicking the link on the screen and urging your member of Congress to act now. We do not want to waste any time while other jurisdictions are trying to find their way into the stablecoin landscape. So we thank you in advance for joining us on this advocacy mission. If you ever need anything at all, you know where to reach us, but we appreciate your support.
So here we go. Now, this right here is Eric Van Miltenberg, SVP of Strategic Initiatives. I think that's his title. Shares insights, Ripple strategic acquisitions.
The same time,
these are interesting clips.
Ripple, like going into crypto prime brokers, is a very big leap from payments. It's more of a retail banking type of business to like a investment banking business. Yeah. So I thought that was kind of quite a leap. But other stacks or financial business stacks that you're looking going forward that would complement these businesses?
There's something I can comment on specifically right now, but sure. To your point, I totally get it. I think it's a fair assessment. Like, that's certainly interesting. Ripple going and buying Hidden Road, but there's at the surface, it really makes quite a bit of sense. One, from Hidden Road's perspective, you're right. They have so much demand from players ranging from very kind of known private equity hedge funds that want to do more with them, but like your balance sheet can't do as much as it wants. So that makes tons of sense. You think about RLUSD and the ability to think of RLUSD as being collateral that they need instead of holding fiat or instead of holding another stablecoin. I mean, the volumes that Inroad deals in are enormous and will be even greater with kind of the backing of Ripple. And then even as you look at the broad portfolio, the hundreds of customers that Hidden Road has, they're all either holding or considering holding digital assets. So custody could be an obviously upsell. So there's a lot of cross-pollination and cross-fertilization. But to get your question about, are there other components, other building blocks? Yes. The way we've approached it, certainly we have a point of view, we have a vision, if you will. But almost everything I've talked about and everything we've added has really been customer-informed, customer-driven.
Okay.
The whole, even evolved the payments product, where before we had a product that required our customers to go and form relationships with centralized exchanges, both in the sending market and on the receiving market. And since then, listening to our customers are like, that's really a pain. We'd love for Ripple really to take that full end-to-end solution. So we've gone out, we've gone through a lot of hard work and effort to acquire licenses required that allow us to be a money transmitter and a digital money transmitter. So I think that the next pieces as we build out this portfolio will definitely be informed by our customer interactions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for me, like the obvious one I thought would have been like a brokerage business, right? So not a crypto prime brokerage business, but more of like a retail brokerage business potentially.
Yeah, we've had this conversation internally probably ever since I've started. Where is our sweet spot in terms of target customers? And we've always, without fail, been a B2B company. We're an enterprise company. Yeah. We don't do retail. Have we thought about getting into kind of becoming a centralized exchange? Yes, but the answer is that's not really our business. We think our value proposition and what we can do on our own or how we can leverage something like the XRP ledger is really well suited for that enterprise customer. So never to say never, and who knows how the markets evolve and whatnot. But yeah, our inclination is to stay on the track we've already kind of carved out and has been successful for us, and that's to be more of a B2B partner as opposed to go straight to retail. Now, our customers in turn have retail customers, so the benefit of what Ripple does is felt down at the retail level. But in terms of our direct interactions, we've kept it to be enterprise level.
And he's also got this other clip that's great.
I think you mentioned that you joined Ripple, initially it was about payments. How did that journey look? And then how is it kind of turning into a different beast now?
Yeah, it has been an evolution. But the thing to call out, our mission, or vision, I should say, when I joined the company 8.5 years ago, hasn't changed at all. And it predates my joining the company. It's really, we're trying to enable the internet of value. We believe in the ability that value should be moving around the world as efficiently as data moves around the internet. And historically it hasn't. And we think blockchain is a lever, if you will, that we can pull and address that. Back, even before I joined, there was a discussion of, okay, so if you believe in that, where do you start? It's sort of this wide field. There's so many different applications. And our analysis led us to say that cross-border payments, it was really our flagship. It was a great insertion point so we can prove the value and address some of the inefficiencies that sort of exist in the legacy payment system. And we've done a great job with that over the last 9 years or so. Hundreds of customers around the world. We built out a payments network that addresses 90% of the FX traded. We've processed $70 billion worth of transactions. So we gained a lot of momentum, and I think we've established ourselves as a credible, serious player to help bridge the gap between more of a TradFi world and a DeFi world as it relates to payments. But in doing that, we started in conversations with customers, seeing other needs and other opportunities. The whole idea of on-ramps and off-ramps between fiat currency and digital currency. And so we started building up liquidity capabilities. You don't have to think about it too long to say, well, if financial institutions are going to start to hold digital assets, how do they hold them? So custody is important. We went and acquired a company about 2 years ago called Medico out of Switzerland that has an enterprise-grade custody solution that now is part of the Ripple portfolio. Again, the ability to move easily out of currencies, stable coins, important. We launched Ripple USD, or RLUSD, back in December as a stablecoin offering, largely because our customers were using stablecoins and that payments flow as a bridge currency between two fiat currencies. And they were asking, why don't you guys have a stablecoin? I'd rather just work with you on the payments and the stablecoin instead of having to go and source that from other ways. And then most recently, we made an acquisition of a company called Hidden Road that's a prime broker that, again, straddles the world between digital and traditional finance. So what we're really doing is we're creating a portfolio of building blocks, think of them as enterprise blockchain piece parts that we work with our customers who are mostly, not entirely, but currently mostly financial institutions, to help them almost as a partner as opposed to a vendor unlock the full potential of blockchain technology. And you can imagine that we'll want to add other pieces. Some of those will be done organically. Some of those we'll do through acquisition and fold them into our portfolio. But the point is that we want to kind of become, and it's a little bit of an overused term, but that one-stop shop that a financial institution can say, Ripple's trusted, they're serious, they're about real-world solutions, they're compliant. We work 60 licenses around the world, ranging from MTLs in the US to the major payments institution. Is that MPI? I always get the acronym in my head mixed up. License here in Singapore. And so we try to not only represent ourselves, but act as a responsible player that is worthy of being partners to these institutions.
Yeah.
All right. Look at this. BBVA Bank goes live with crypto. The Turkey subsidiary. Look at this. Turkey's Garanti BBVA subsidiary now offers a broad range of digital assets, including Solana, XRP, AVAX. You can see where things are going. I could not remember if I had ever seen this clip, but this is from the Crypto.com CEO.
Next couple of years, I think altcoins that have strong flows will outperform. I don't know if you guys seen this, but there's a forecast saying that the ETF for XRP is going to attract 8 billion of inflows next year. So you can imagine what kind of impact that may have. And in terms of what we're doing, I think we have a very clear, differentiated, exciting strategy that nobody else is pursuing and nobody else can compete with us on. That's very unique. So we will build it, and I hope you guys join along.
He hinted at what I've been saying, which is that most of the money, as this crypto thing takes off, is going to flow into what I would call the blue chips, XRP being at the top of that list. Blue chip American crypto, which puts XRP at the very top of the list. This right here, I believe, is going to happen simultaneously.
Problem is what happens if Bitcoin price stays flat or starts to go down. You said his stock was up over a 5-year basis by a huge amount, which is true. But if you look from year to date at its performance compared to the Bitcoin miners, even, you're starting to see that performance is running into headwinds. In theory, a Bitcoin treasury company's price should increase by upwards of 2 times whatever Bitcoin's price is increasing on a daily basis because of the leverage that they're driving. And that's not the case anymore. I think what we're starting to see is the saturation of the Bitcoin treasury business market, because to your point, they're not in any other business. They're taking over a company with a marginally profitable business and they're turning it into an accumulator for Bitcoin. And at the end of the day, you have a bunch of people competing for capital, and that capital is going to go to the highest return, which means the lowest multiple to NAV. And over time, that multiple to NAV is eventually going to go to zero, not unlike what happened with Grayscale, where for a long period of time, the Grayscale Trust, which held Bitcoin, was trading at a discount to its NAV. And I think there's risk, especially as you layer a lot of debt on these companies. If Bitcoin goes down by any considerable amount or stagnates for any length of time, there could be challenges for them to maintain that multiple.
All right. You know what? I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to go into the group now. It's daixrp.com, the Patreon, or you can click on below any of my YouTube videos to join there, or you can go to X and hit the subscribe button. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.